When is it too soon to have sex? And excuse my voice, I'm getting over a cold and I have lost my voice. But I had to talk about this today. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to show up for you guys. And I do see it come up a lot with my clients, and they're always asking. And I know on a personal note, like on a level, I used to always lead with the physical. And I realized that deep down, my sense of worth was really tied to what I can do for you physically, sexually, whatever. And so part of my method that I created before meeting my husband is really putting sex, like taking it off the table and just really leaning into emotional connection. Are we aligned? Like, do we actually, can we have the best time? Do we want the same things? And not even have sex, you know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times people are rushing to have sex and they get the judgment's completely clouded. You get attached and you put the blinders on and you don't see, oh my gosh, like this person doesn't want to have kids, or this person never wants to get married, or this person is an avoidant or is not emotionally available, all these things, right? And so the whole point is, when is it too soon to have sex? I feel like if you don't feel like you know clearly that you guys want the same thing, the vision for your lives, if you don't know, having sex isn't going to help you find out or discover anything or change his mind. And so if you are feeling super grounded and you're like, you know what, I know my worth, I know what I want, and this person I feel alignment with, and I'm not for necessarily, oh my gosh, it's all about time, you have to wait a certain amount of time. For myself, I did say like, okay, I'm gonna give it a month, at least a month, right? But I honestly, if you know yourself and you can be really real with yourself and say, you know what, I do rush into the physical, and let me be intentional and put it aside. Yes. And then you're asking yourself, okay, I'm connecting with this person. When is it too soon? If you don't know the answers to certain questions, like, for example, what do they want in their future? If you want kids, do they want kids? Are they so, when you're with them, do you feel safe? Do you feel like they communicate with you? Are they sharing with you what they're really thinking and feeling? At the end of the day, we so often know deep down that this person is not it. And we are bearing that feeling. We don't want to hear it. And, I think it comes from a place of we're so desperate, to have connection with anybody. We're so desperate to just have attention. And, a lot of times you don't even realize that's what you're craving. And you're human, and that's okay. But I don't want you to bullshit yourself, and I don't want to tell you, oh, go ahead and have sex whenever. No, because that's the worst advice. I think it's really important for you to slow down and take a step back and really see your own patterns. If you are rushing into sex, and if you're asking, is it too soon? It probably is too soon. You know what I mean? It's like, I think it's so important to get to a place of, you're so confident in where you're at and what you want. And you really feel like, oh my gosh, this is different. This connection I have with someone, this is real. This is different from what I've ever had before. And if you don't know, and if you're completely confused and you're just like, I don't know, this is the power of a coach. This is the power, and I'll drop the link below to apply for a free call with me to see, if it's something you really want help with. It's hard to see what you can't see. If you've been in it on your own, endless situationships and relationships that go nowhere, it's going to be hard for you to see clearly, oh my gosh, if I make this decision, I will get different results, right? And so at the end of the day, I can tell you, don't have sex. Yes, you could have sex, but at the end of the day, you are the one that are talking to somebody, connecting with someone. Do you feel safe with them? Do you feel like you are aligned? And you have to answer these questions for yourself. Take the time. And you know what? If you're going to lose him because you're not rushing to bed with him, then bye. He's not your person. He's not. I really remember clearly when I had sex off the table, like Will was perfectly happy waiting for me. You know what I mean? And I think that it speaks volumes to a person and what they really want. If a man is in your life and he's saying he wants to find his forever person, like that's what he wants to be a husband, he wants to be a father, and he's connecting with you on a deep level. Like, oh my gosh, I can't get enough of this person. Like you guys have that chemistry and you're laughing. And oh my gosh, then he will wait until you're ready. Don't ever feel pressure. Like, oh my gosh, I have to be the people pleaser and I have to. The other thing I'm going to say, one last thing about this is that I do think that it's been normalized to just, oh my gosh, like now we're holding hands and now we're making out and like this is just what happens. And I really want you to shift that in your mind. Just like make a decision of like, wait a second, like why am I giving him access to me so easily? Who is this guy? Like really value yourself and every part of you. Like your time, your energy, your freaking pinky. Like every part of you is so valuable and precious. And I don't want you giving it away so easily. And so really valuing yourself and saying, okay, I am so precious. Remember that little girl who you were. Remember her. And she's so beautiful and precious and believes in like this beautiful happily ever after. And it does exist, right? But you have this beautiful heart of gold and you deserve to be treated with care, and not just anyone can walk right in and have access to you. No, it's like, who are you? Let's get to know each other. Slow down. You 100%. I want you to demand that for yourself. If you haven't been doing that for yourself, then it is right now. This is a decision you can make right now to do that for yourself and say, you know what, from now on, I'm going to raise my standards and I'm going to slow things down and I'm going to say, who are you to have access to me? Obviously, you don't say those words to him, right? You're not told to say that to him. But I am just being. It is so empowering when you make this shift in your mind. When you start to say, "Hey, I don't need to do. I'm not obligated to be and do the things that I did yesterday. Like today is a new day, and from now on, I am going to." Slow things down. I'm not going to be just kissing on a first date for whoever. I'm not going to be holding your hand. I need to know if we're aligned. And that requires time. You like in terms of like spending time together talking and not just listening to what they're saying, but seeing if actions align with words. Okay? So yeah, when is it too soon to have sex? And it's interesting too. I'm going to tell you this last thing because all these things keep coming in my brain. Is when Will and I were together, and I waited a month, and I was like, for me, I was like, this guy is it. Like he was everything I really wanted, but we didn't have that commitment talk. So I jumped the gun, and then after we had already had sex, then he's like. I wanted to have the conversation. And then he's like, oh, it's too soon to have this. Like, I'm not, oh my gosh, I need time. So I was like, okay, fine, you need time. Well, I just don't feel comfortable having sex with someone who's not my boyfriend. And he was super respectful of that. And he's like, okay, no problem. So we stopped having sex and we dated for another month without anything more than kissing, right? But the point is, I do feel like it was too soon for me to have sex with him because we didn't have that talk about commitment. We just weren't, like, everything else seemed aligned and I assumed. So this is like a real important lesson is like, don't assume anything. learn from my mistake, right? Now it honestly worked out for me at the end, right? But I did have to course correct. I basically found myself in a situationship. Whoopsie daisies. And mind you, like this was we're 18 years married. Like all of this is so timeless, you guys. Like now it's like, yeah, you have dating apps, but like this, it's the same shit, like the same energy, situationships, like all the things, existed then, exist now. Me getting physical too early, like all of that, right? So yeah, I want to hear from you. If you're listening on YouTube, drop me a message. Let me know. Do you rush into bed with someone, or do you slow things down? And the other thing too is, are you slowing weight down? You know what I mean? Like I think that it's really important to be intimate with someone, and that's a real important part of the relationship. And I want you to have clarity on that if you guys are aligned also in that way. Now, sometimes people want to wait until they get married, and I totally respect that. And that's, due to your faith, religion, whatever. And I respect that completely. But for any other person, who don't have those beliefs or whatever rules for yourself, I do think it's important to see how comfortable you are in your own skin and how comfortable you are in exploring intimacy with someone. So those are things that are important for you to reflect on and say, oh my gosh, yeah, like I think anyone could be like, oh my gosh, I don't rush into bed. I'm like, but that being said, like when do you ever go to sleep with, like, oh my God, I get super nervous and I'm rigid and oh my gosh, I freak out. So it's a balance. It really is a balance, you guys. And I'm not about, so many like rules on you. I think the most powerful thing is like you knowing yourself and trusting yourself, really feeling the guidance, from God, universe. Like it is, I think, something that's so beautiful in my own journey that I've realized is that the answer has been within, and it's been always like a whisper. And through our experiences, we kind of shut down that noise and that whisper. We don't want to hear it. And my whole goal for you is to remind you of how beautiful and powerful and lovable you are, and not to abandon yourself, and to listen to yourself, because you know more than you probably realize. Sending you so much love. And remember, it has to be crazy love or nothing. Thanks for listening.
Soon they will see they've underestimated all the secrets you